joining tonight up here in the hot seat.
No doubt.
Just so you know, the meeting is streamed with YouTube, and it'll be recorded just for transparency purposes. But I hope we can all feel free to speak our minds. Wanted to thank you all for coming tonight and just congratulate you again on being appointed to the Sustainability Committee. This is obviously our first meeting. My name is Tony Tidwell. I'm the Director of Urban and Parkland Management. I will run the meeting until the chair is elected, and then I'll step aside, and the chair will run the meeting for the rest of the existence of the committee. I will slip back into an advisory role. I'm here to answer any questions. I'll tell you everything I know. Some will tell you that I don't know very much, but I'll tell you what I know, and if I can't tell you, I'll find somebody who can give us an answer. So any questions that you have from a city perspective, just feel free to ask. I'm also your liaison. If you want to communicate with any of the other city departments, please do that through me. That way we can streamline the communication, and they'll understand that this communication is coming from the Sustainability Committee. That's all I have. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Tony Tidwell. I'm the Director of Urban and Parkland Management. I've been with the city for 16 years. I started in the building department, and then in 2008, I moved to Parks and Rec in 2013, where I worked as the city horticulturist, and then in 2022, I became the Director of Urban and Parkland Management. Really enjoy my job, and I appreciate you guys for letting me be a part of the committee. Just so you know, again, I am not a part of the committee at all. I'm just here as an advisory role. So we'll start with Bob.
So I'm Bob Funnell. Pleased to be and join this group, although I have no professional training in terms of natural environment sustainability. I've lived in Clemson since 1969, so my family's here. I enjoy the community. I was a university professor for 37 years, and look forward to working with the group.
I'm Mary Jones. I am in school for environmental natural resource management. I also don't have any professional experience with this sort of thing. And I recently just moved to Clemson in January, so.
Where did you move from?
Walhalla.
Oh,
Not far.
I'm Elaine Richardson. I've been in Clemson since 1972, 43 years at the university, retired, and very passionate about trees. A lot of people tell you I'm a tree hugger. I don't really have any background other than being in agriculture, and I did get a feel for some things through that. But I spent the last 12 years as the director of the Academic Success Center. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here. I think I have a one-year appointment, which is fine. I just wanted to see what I could do to get it started, and I'm happy to help. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Rita Singh, and we came to Clemson in 1991. So it's been
33 years.
Yeah, 33 years, yeah. Yeah, long time. Yes, so I've seen Clemson that day. There was nothing here, absolutely nothing. Didn't like this place because I could not even see a person when, my real estate lady was driving. I said, oh my God, I was young, very young kids. I said, oh my God, there's not even a Walmart where to take my kids for their school supplies. So that kind of thing I have seen with Clemson. And gradually, of course, it has grown to the point that we do need a committee, we do need a commission to think about it. And I'm a retired faculty from Clemson University. I took early retirement. My husband is still working. He still teaches in the EE, electrical engineering, computer science. And I serve on many committees. With the university, I'm still very much involved with serving lots of committees, workshops, seminars. I do that for the university. So that's why I'm very much involved. And I live in Castle Forest. I'm sure you all know that. Sioux neighbor. And I do see things, I don't have any background, just like any one of you, but I'm a tree hugger too. And I realized that why we need to feel this thing in our neighborhood. They have really, I mean, when we moved, it was something different, and now it's like everything is cut down. I don't know about it, right or wrong, but I have, this for last whole 1 year we have a displaced bear who is just, poor thing. He's everybody's behind somebody's house, wrecking things, and definitely I'm not mad at him. I feel very sorry for him because he's looking for food, and his house has been taken away since they cut this behind my house and making this new neighborhood. He has been displaced, so I know that. So that's my reason to be here for the bear, to put him back where he belongs, and to give him some trees.
I'm Cindy Hecking. I came to Clemson in 1986 and graduated from Clemson University with a degree in aquaculture, fisheries, and wildlife biology. And don't really use the aquaculture part much, but and then I stayed here for many years. I didn't really use the degree very much. I ended up working for a hospital, but that was always my passion. And then I went, after I retired, I started a program with the Extension Service called the Upstate Master Naturalist Program, and I graduated from that, and then I got a Midlands Master Naturalist, so I'm considered a State Master Naturalist, but it's really just, it just means I took a course. It doesn't mean I'm really, proficient in anything. But I'm very passionate about the natural world and trees and everything in it.
I'm Nancy Spittler. We have lived in downtown Clemson since '96, and I just retired from Clemson about a year ago. But before that, worked at Furman for 14 years and was really involved with sustainability initiatives there. We had a president who was very passionate about sustainability, and so it's been an interest and a passion of mine, and I'm just glad the city's doing this. So.
My name is Andrew Evans. I am a junior at Clemson. I've been here since 2021. And I just hear all these great stories of Mayor Abernathy and the old Clemson president, how they had this program where they had, every tree had a number, and it was posted what, just tree trimmings, and if they were going to cut it down, people would have forward advance so they could go chain themselves to a tree or whatever they wanted to do. And since I heard about Abernathy Park from an elderly community member who barely got herself out there and was handing out these flyers, Save Abernathy, I was really interested in what's happening with Clemson and developing interests. So I'm here to do what I can. I don't have too much experience in government other than student government from high school. I don't think it's all that similar, but yeah, I love biodiversity, and I think we're going to do great stuff.
One more introduction.
Hey guys, I'm Chris White, so I'm the city horticulturist for the forester. I've been in this area, I live in Seneca, for about 10 years, came from Cincinnati. But I'm really interested in sustainability. I went to school for plant and soil science. We did stuff like green roofs, like living walls, aquaponics, aquaculture. So I'm just really excited to be here. Just help out any way I can.
Awesome. And we have one more member, Eunice Laymarker, who has she has a lot of things behind her name. I'll let her talk about that when she comes back, but she is Miss Sustainability. I mean, she lives it and breathes it.
Yep.
So looking forward for her joining us as well. And I see, Mary, it looks like you're keeping track of things for us.
I'm trying.
Don't sweat it too much. Like I say, the meeting is being recorded. Just hit the highlights if you can, and whatever we miss, we can get it.
So it's on YouTube, so I can go back and fill it out.
There you go. So the action items that we have tonight are nominating committee members. We're looking for a nomination for a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary. And like I said, once those elections take place, then this becomes you all's committee to run it. And I'll sit up here, be quiet, and let you all talk, and I'll learn stuff. It would probably be recommended that we use the Roberts rules, so that's a motion, a second, all in favor kind of thing, for any action that will be called to order and adjournment and any kind of action items in the meeting. So now I'm going to let you all make nominations as you see fit, and we'll do some voting.
Does anyone want a position specifically? Any secretary?
I'd be happy to serve as vice chair, but not chair.
Just saying. I thought I would say that. I'll be interested in vice chair, and depending upon how much. I did this kind of thing. I spoke, and in my neighborhood, and then they just put me on my HOA president. Then I served for 3 years. I said, oh boy.
It's a dangerous thing.
It's a very, yeah. Oh my God, yes, yes.
I'd like to know what exactly each position entails and what is.
Here comes my first question. See what I can do. The chair will run the meetings. The chair will also come up with the agenda with me. We'll sit down at some point or communicate, and we'll come up for the meetings. We'll come up with the agenda for each meeting. That's basically it.
You'll be helping,
Yes.
having there's somebody.
And then vice chair will fill in case the chair is not here. And
How often are we meeting?
I'm sorry?
How often are we going to meet? How?
That's up to you guys.
Are we an official city committee now?
You guys are an official city committee.
Then I think we ought to schedule it for monthly, and then if we don't need one, or if we don't have any agenda, we could always cancel. I've been on 2 others, the BZA and the Planning Commission, so I was kind of thinking about how they operate,
Sure.
so that might be a way to go.
Yeah, we have that on the agenda to discuss. So when you guys do the elections, whoever the chair is, we'll run through the agenda, and we've got a calendar here, we can figure all that out. But I like the once a month.
Yeah, and on the schedule, so we always know what it is.
I can do it, but as you said, that it's not a lone effort. They have your support and help.
Sounds good. We have a nomination.
I'll nominate Rita.
Oh,
We have a second.
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 thank you.
All in favor? We have a chair.
Congratulations.
Well done.
One of the old residents, actually in my neighborhood, I think I'm the only one, who moved there. We bought our house in 1996 in Calhoun Forest. Before that, we lived in behind the Holiday Inn, those condos, what are they called? I don't know, Holiday Inn, behind
Oh,
the
the Holiday East.
Yeah, Holiday East, yeah. We lived there for a couple of years, and then we built our house in Calhoun Forest, 96. So it's good to be here 28 years. In the neighborhood. I know, yeah, I'm an old soul. I'm an old soul. Yes. So,
All right. Well, we've got our chair. We have a nomination for our vice chair.
yes, we have one here.
You said you were interested in vice chair as well?
Sure.
Did you say
We
your
can
name?
have a competition.
We have competition. Gonna take this outside.
That's right.
No.
He had said he was interested in vice chair as well, that's the reason.
But
Sure.
you guys,
Nominations. Robert's Rule of Order.
Yeah, we'll have to have, you guys will have to go at it with nominations for the vice. We've got Andrew and Elaine.
I'll nominate Andrew
Okay.
for the record.
All right.
So I'll nominate Elaine.
Okay.
Boy. Now we need a
It
second.
doesn't matter to me. To me, I mean, for chair, I really, it doesn't matter. Can two people be there? A co-chair? Can we do something like that? Is there any change in Robert's rule that we can have? Sometimes we do have
Well,
the
you
same
can
chair.
work as a team.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
even if it's, you know, supposedly a chair and a vice chair. If you work as a team,
I
then
can
it's irrelevant.
ask that question.
So what's your availability?
But I'm fine with Drew being vice chair. I just didn't want us to not have any nominations.
Right.
My availability
I can
is
see
really
you.
tight, so I was just.
Your
gonna
availability
put it
is
out.
really tight?
It is with school.
Yeah, okay.
But I would like to help out as much as I can.
Okay.
So if you have more free time, then you should.
She's
probably-
retired.
She's retired, yeah, she's retired.
I nominate Elaine.
All right, we got a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of Elaine? All right. All right, the last is our secretary. Secretary is basically doing what Mary's doing right now. Just
Mary
keep,
and Nancy are
was gonna
doing
say-
Mary, you put yourself into this, okay? You
Yeah.
started typing, you brought your laptop here, I forgot my phone at home. Look at me, how organized I am. Okay.
I nominate Mary.
all right, we have a nomination for Mary.
Second. And I'm happy to back, Mary, I'm happy to back you up if
Yeah.
you're not here.
That's great.
Okay, thank you.
That will be necessary. All right, we have a second.
Yeah, Nancy second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yeah.
All right,
Hurrah.
all right. So Chair, the meeting is now yours. We will move on to,
See, I
so
told
soon.
you, you sat in front of the gavel when I.
Just, that's what happens.
Wonder.
That's what happens. So,
Why does it want to use this? All right, so thank you so much, Tony, for doing this thing. And
Yes.
I have been, you know, I wanted to be a little bit more involved with the city, and Robert has been telling me that, you know, you got to be on the committees, you got to be in the committees. And I thought that, okay, this is about time. And that's how I ended up here. And of course, all the things which are going, and I see the development of the city is important. When I came here, I wanted everything, you know. I was devastated when I didn't see Walmart. But I understood that. I did not want it. And I said, it's a very good thing, you know, it's there, but it's not here. And it mattered to us. But I see all the things, you know, happening, and to balancing all the, you know, all these requirements, and plus understanding our, as we say that, our resources and natural resources, which is a wonderful, wonderful asset for this city, Clemson. And I really respect that, and I want it to be continued. So, keeping everything in our mind, we should, I think, keep discussing these things and think about it. What else we want, we don't want, what do you want to do, what kind of proposal we are going to put. Does it make sense, what I'm saying?
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. Because I have seen this city, and I did not like that either. I have seen, when I said it was, we lived there when there was a Winn-Dixie right here, and what else? And on the name of department store, so somebody said that I needed to buy some booms and things like that. They said that go to this on 93, there's a store, Ingalls, and behind or next to it there's a store. And I went there, there was I don't even remember the name of the store. It was very rundown place, very rundown place. And it really brought tears to my eye, because we came from Oklahoma, and I have traveled all over. I mean, we have been in this country for many, many, many years. So I came from Oklahoma, which was a pretty, you know, good-sized city, Oklahoma City. Lived in Colorado, lived in Michigan, and ended up here. And I was telling my husband that you have done some bad things to me, but this takes the cake. Mean things to me. I mean, you have made mean decisions which did not favor me, but this takes the cake. You brought me in Clemson. Oh my God! I had just graduated. I was looking for a job, and I did not want to go to Greenville because I have little kids. My kids were very little. They went to elementary school here, middle school, high school, everything, they did here. So for me, it was like that. But then I wanted things, but at the same time, I did not want it to explode
Yeah.
and maintain things, balancing. So I think that should be our goal. Do you think so?
Well, yeah, I mean, balancing growth versus,
Growth versus maintaining the
yeah,
natural.
but, and
everything.
encouraging the new growth to be very thoughtfully done.
Exactly, encouraging,
And
yeah.
We talked at the last meeting about trying to even bring trees into places where there are just parking lots now. Can we put something in here that increase tree cover? Can we, where can we just stick things that can increase the tree cover and make, or when we put a neighborhood in, can we put in corridors for wildlife between the houses? Can we, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do when you grow.
That's what I'm saying, that balancing and growing with the keeping in mind, because we both, my husband and I, we travel a lot and we go to places. I love nature. I love mountains. We went to Costa Rica. We just came back from Alaska, and mountains and the beauty, all those things. And many places. I went to Denali Park, and we went there. It's beautiful. If you have been, I'm sure some of you. And and when people say, "Oh, this is really gorgeous," I said, "You know what? Where I live is equally beautiful. I don't see when you go to take that boat ride in Lake Jocassee, and you see all that beautiful. I said, yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, I'm not deeming the Alaska or any. Went to Lake Tahoe and all those places. They are beautiful, but I also live at a very beautiful place. I love mountains. I love all these things, and I cherish it.
But I feel like Clemson, because of its history, I mean, when you look at right after the cotton left, I mean, if you see pictures of the area, there are no trees here. And we've made huge strides in planting. I mean, they put in the Clemson Experimental Forest, and a lot of the old farmland was allowed to go back to forest. The 24 acres I live on used to be a farm. But now it's forest, and it's gotten big now. I mean, it's not, original forest, but we've got trees with some serious girth, and it's now really quality habitat. And I think we need to keep as much of that as we can, and provide places for wildlife to exist.
Yeah.
While enhancing the people's lives that live here. I think you can do both, but you have to be really thoughtful about it.
Student growth they're talking about, because I work with the university, and and they're talking about having more students, which is good.
I wanted to ask if we could have everyone go through and do a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just before we do that, if we're going to follow the agenda in order tonight,
Okay.
the next item would be public comments. So I think we have a gentleman here.
Yeah,
You have a public comment?
I just here to ask some questions.
Okay. Public comments, 3-minute limit.
Okay.
So ask away, sir.
Okay.
There's a lot of people
There may be
That's
some
right.
comments.
So I just heard about this committee, and I figured I'd come down and say I had no idea this was the first meeting of the committee. My name's John Beckerly. I live over in Canlaw Subdivision. Eunice Lehmacher is one of my good friends, and I was out here campaigning or canvassing for her on Sunday. My questions, I lived here for 33 years, I think. I have heard, so I have 3 questions. One is, what is going on? I've read there was some article in the Seneca Journal I saw, or with things about problems with the electric buses. And is that real? Is it not? Is there a future or not a future for the electric buses in Clemson? The company that made the electric buses went bankrupt, but another company took that over. As far as I know from what I looked at, it doesn't, companies go bankrupt all the time. That doesn't mean the business disappears. It just, the investors lose money and somebody else takes it over. So I'd be curious what's going on with that. Second, I am very much involved with sustainability myself. I mean, with sustainability, I don't know, but I volunteer a lot with Citizens Climate Lobby, and we've been looking around a lot at electrification and the like. And I remember that when it was built, and this may not be this committee's issue, but I'm just trying to gather information. When it was built, Clemson Elementary School had ground source heat pumps and was a quite forward-looking environmental structure. And I noticed it doesn't have solar, at least I don't think it has solar panels on it. I don't go by there all that often anymore. My kids are grown and gone. But I'm curious as to what the status of that is. Is Clemson Elementary still a flagship environmental thing? Because we're trying to encourage other buildings to go that way. And then the third thing is I'm an empty nester. I still work, but for fun on Friday nights. I'm separated from my spouse, so on Friday and Saturday nights, I actually drive Uber around Clemson because it's fun. Okay, and it just lets me think. And what I notice is that I get lots of questions. I have an electric car. I get lots of questions about it. But my conclusion is that there are no or very few electric car chargers, particularly in student housing developments. And are there any standards for putting electric car chargers into student housing developments? And is this committee, a recommendation from this committee, the kind of thing that should happen? Because students could drive electric cars, but as an electric car owner, what you need is a plug where you sleep.
Yeah.
And they're not really that expensive to put in. And there should probably, I'm guessing there should be a building. Somebody told me that actually Grandmark has a couple now. And I haven't seen them, but somebody, maybe they're starting to happen. But I would like to see something like that happen.
So I have worked with Eunice. We were on a committee. For 3 years we worked on, to make Clemson environment better, but somehow it did not work. So we tried to work with Clemson University. And of course, my husband is, his specialization is in electric vehicles. And he has been working for quite some time, bringing these electric cars and charger in Clemson. And he has just struggled a lot, asking Clemson University that we have so many parking lots. Why can't we put on top of the parking lots all the solar panels?
Right.
And that kind of thing, charger. It was one of his students, he thought, what was that? Especially some project from an honors student that did this. And if you go behind the Clemson Cooper Library, behind it you see those umbrellas. Mm-hmm. And it has charger. Those umbrellas have solar panels. Mm-hmm. You have seen that?
Right.
That was one of his students' project. There are 4 or 5 tables here, and you can see that, and charger. So you want that kind of visibility. You want that kind of top of these parking areas. We need solar panels or electric vehicle car charging stations. Clemson has one somewhere where they have you can go and.
There's a few in Clemson,
There are a few,
but it's really very few.
Very few.
They have plans to build more, but that's not the only solution. I mean, students, we have, every one of these as I drive Uber, I drive through all these student parking, student housing developments, right?
Yeah.
And they really, that's the only, if you're hunting around at work trying to compete for chargers, to be able to charge your car, even with, that, and then having to, if it's distant from where you at, students drive in, they park their car in a distant lot, then they take a bus or take a long hike to get to their classes. They don't have time to come back and move their car or anything like that. They need to just be able to plug it in essentially where they sleep.
So you're asking if there could be requirements for new student developments to have electric car chargers
Yeah.
as part of the development.
Yeah.
And cities should have some places. So I know they have acquired new electric buses. Did you know that?
Yeah, no, right. The electric bus thing is they definitely have a bunch of electric buses from Colterra, which went bankrupt. But as far, like I said, the article I read was some of those Seneca
Yeah, I read
on
the
the
same
route
article.
out to Seneca, or Seneca had bought them. And the article I read was they were just writing them off.
Yeah, the CAT bus is getting ready to go to natural gas.
Oh, is
buses.
that?
Yes, sir.
They're also abandoning the electric bus?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I will check with Jerry at CAT, but I'd like to get your name and email address so I can get you a more definitive answer than what I'm giving you.
Right,
But
okay. Yeah, let me go write it up.
I appreciate that.
That's under our purview.
We could definitely
definitely.
Yeah.
to the university.
I mean, I don't
And
know.
university does not have, look at it, university does not have a culture that anywhere like.
Well, they need to start thinking about it, because if they want to attract students, a lot of these students are already going to have electric cars.
Yeah.
Right.
6-7 years.
Well, what they need to start doing is students who are coming need to start saying, I want this.
Students should say that.
Yeah.
I'll take up something like that.
Yeah, maybe they can give them.
Yeah, I'll start talking to, yeah. But they.
MIT.edu? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, they don't,
Thanks, John.
well, it's expensive to put them in. I'm sure they don't want to spend the money to do it, but.
Yeah, all right. I mean, well, this is first meeting, so we should share our everything. And I feel we are pretty good. We have checked out our goals. Meeting, we have decided what you wanted to meet. When we have once a
I
month.
think did we discuss our goals? Did we
No.
discuss, we didn't discuss goals,
We
did we?
just had public comments.
Yeah, we just did public comments.
We haven't done
Okay, I
goals.
thought.
Now we're
And we
gonna
just did this one,
Okay,
that one, so we're down to discussion items one.
all right, yeah,
Goals for
we went.
2024.
Okay, we skip things and went back, okay. All right, so goals, what we talked about, probably that's what.
Well, but they weren't specific.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
we
let's-
need measurable,
Yeah.
specific, smart goals, yeah.
Maybe we allow every
We should,
person.
yeah, we should, I think we'll have to meet and separately and probably work on that. That all of you, maybe you should write down basically our goals, and then we should all come up with one, make it one.
Well, or we could just go down and everybody could share a goal that they would like us to explore.
Yeah, and then we can say
Taking
whether or
notes,
not.
yeah, she's taking notes,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's start from there.
Sure. Just so we don't waste any time, I already, from what we talked about, increasing tree coverage, green corridors, and protecting trees that have some age on them are goals that I've already heard discussed. I think the goal I would like to add is community engagement, specifically in the greening of Clemson. So taking public places and making them food abundant and biodiverse. And I've got a club. There was something mentioned about Daniel High School. There's lots of resources that I've been tapping into and finding out about. So organizing the community is around sustainability, I guess, is my goal.
If you don't know about it, you can't be passionate about it, right?
And I have a single one. I would love for us as a city to explore composting. Yes, that was mine. Okay.
Okay, so we are going to specific goals, okay, for each one.
We're just kind of
All right.
listening.
Yeah, we should.
I think
I'm
we're just
writing it
creating a
down, like,
list.
everything.
And I do think we should, as one of our goals, look into how to encourage more car chargers and in Clemson as a city, and making a recommendation to university. And also increasing wildlife habitat. Let's put that in there.
Yeah, I think my first goal was just to listen to Tony and his trees and urban land management, and figure out how to make people aware and support those efforts. I certainly had the composting down also. You know, you mentioned with the university, I mean, the university has a big sustainability webpage. I don't know how active it is, but but there's a lot going on. Or I believe from the webpage, there's a lot going on.
Greenwashing going on.
And within the city, I was wondering with this discussion now about comprehensive 2045 plan, is sustainability, is there a part in it already? Or is there room for us to get into that?
Yes, sir, there is. It was required by law for there to be a natural resources component, and I would say we would be remiss if we were involved in that for sure.
Has it started? Have you started?
Not yet. And I would like to have a liaison between the university sustainability committee that they have with this committee. I think that would be really cool.
From my understanding, they've kind of fallen out. They haven't been meeting and stuff, but if we reach out, maybe that'll get them up and running again.
I could do that.
That'd be awesome.
I think either Drew or Mary might be good for that if we get to that point, thinking about, because they're still connected with the university. The rest of us are gone.
I'm not at Clemson yet. I'm still at TCTC.
Okay.
I'll be going to Clemson next year, though.
But that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think mine is a little more specific, maybe too specific right now, because I know we have some tree ordinances, but I think they only apply to trees on city property. Is that correct?
Except for we do have the requirements for developments.
Right. And I think that's a pretty, I know we have that, and I think that's a pretty, what the word to use is, but I won't say shallow, but something like that, just minimal. Is that if you want to cut down a big tree, and I think it specifies the exact size, correct? That if you want to cut that down in a lot, you're going to build houses on, and what they're doing is basically clear cutting them, which is what I really hate to see, that we take down all the big healthy trees. And all they have to do is pay some money into a fund. Well, maybe that payment's not enough. If we're going to allow them to do that, maybe it needs to be something that will hurt. Lack of a better word, but something that would encourage developers to do what they could to save some of the trees.
Or to replace them with trees of a certain
Bigger
caliber.
size, instead of, as I call them,
Well, and not
sticks.
a bunch of Bradford pears.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
and
crepe myrtles.
Yeah.
little bitty stick trees.
Yeah, something that will support wildlife. See, one of the problems, if you cut, if they have an intact forest, and you tell them, okay, we want you to keep 10% of the trees. If they just leave a tree here and a tree there, that tree has grown up with the support of a whole forest around it, and it's a tall, skinny tree, and it'll just blow over the first big storm that comes through. So it would have to be managed really well. I mean, they'd have to leave pockets of trees, and so it might make more sense for them to pay money, but then make good, solid choices about where the money went and what it did.
Absolutely. Some sort of fund to pay for the moving of a big tree, because that's a very expensive.
Because you can do that, you can put big trees in it.
It's just expensive. So if it was enough to cover that would be amazing.
It wouldn't even have to be big, it would just have to be the right kind of tree, and it would have to be taken care of properly so that it survived. I think a lot of times they just plunk them in there and then they're done.
Yeah.
I think
It doesn't do
the
anybody any
university's
good.
I think has a really good example of what you can do to preserve trees, because when they were building the business center, that row of trees right below that, they put that plastic fencing around the drip line. And it looks like now, after that's all in place and has been there for a while, those trees are surviving. So it can be done. It might be a little more trouble to avoid them or to fence them off at the drip line, but you can do that.
We do have tree protection and on developments if they are preserving trees that we do require, and I have to inspect them and make sure they're there throughout the duration. And they don't just go to the drip line. We measure it by an inch of caliper at breast height. So if you have a 20-inch caliper tree, it's 20 feet that we're requiring. Because a lot of times you have an unbalanced crown, and if we just go to the drip line, you may just go 5 feet away if you have all of your crown on one side. So, but we try our best to you know, keep track of.
But I was impressed that they were able to do that with that row of trees, because they were old trees.
And if you do not do that, you will lose those trees. And what we're doing is trying to protect the root system. And a third of the tree is in the ground. And if you don't protect it, it is detrimental. And you may not see it for a couple of years, but it will eventually.
So I don't know how this regulation works with developers when they are developing whole area for new housing. How does it work? I really don't know. I mean, I see. So I told you that I live in Calhoun Forest, and my lot is right behind where anyone is familiar with Bagwell's house. If you are familiar with. So behind it, they have whole new neighborhood. You know that.
Yes.
They are building the whole, and I live right behind it.
Yes.
And our builder, he lives in the same neighborhood. Robbie Newton used to be, you know, and his house also has a huge, full forest area in the back. Now, when they cut that whole area, they cleaned up that whole area. His backyard is his balcony and everything exposed to the person who has built a house right there.
So there's no buffer.
Yeah.
There's no, I know.
Yeah.
I can see, there's nothing I can see. I said, oh my God. And I feel so lucky, fortunately, because there's a hill behind my house. And I was so scared that they're going to, when they started cutting, suddenly one day I see that, oh, behind my house there's a huge truck and all these things, equipment, what's happening? Just suddenly one day I realized it, that is happening, and it really bothered me. It was really bothersome, especially in winter they do that. So during winter when there are no leaves, I can see the houses and before that I didn't have anything, it was so beautiful. I would see deer running on the hill, and I have a small water creek behind my house. And now, so I said, who makes them, give them this permission to really bare naked your backyard like this? I mean, you own this whole thing and then suddenly you just chop it off. I have no idea, so that's why I'm here. I just wanted to figure it out, that how can we make sure that there's, if you're building a house, people have houses, behind this house, at least preserve a couple of trees, couple of area just to buffer, so somebody's backyard or somebody's patio is not naked like that, because they build it when there is a nice forest and wooded area.
And at the same time, you're creating a wildlife corridor. If you leave a buffer,
Yeah,
that's your wildlife corridor.
Are there
So
no
it's not just good for the people, it's good for the
like how
animals.
much you
That's
can
what
clear?
that's what we're looking for.
Do they just get to go in there and wipe everything?
It is a depends question. And I'm not versed well enough in the codes to know exactly.
Okay.
I do know that some developments are required to have vegetative buffer.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that's specified.
Maybe we should look at the ordinances, what's there, and are there things that we can propose to, I guess it would go to the planning commission, so they could then discuss
Right.
the
Yeah.
zoning law.
That was my next
And now's the
question.
perfect time because of the
How
I
can
think
we
it would be-
petition
I think it'd
that?
be wise for us to look at what's required now and where it's required. So if it's not required on all developments,
So I guess we could just say, tree ordinances review.
Well, I know in plan developments, they look at the trees and they're specified what they need to replace, and not,
Yes, sir.
the quality of what they replace may not be good enough.
all developments are required to do a tree inventory. So they inventory all of the trees, even if they're going to take down most of them. So we do get an inventory with DBH of all of the trees that are being removed. I just don't know enough to be able to tell you, because, man, that language in the codes, I'm buffaloed by that stuff, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'd be glad to get someone to come speak to us about it.
That would
be
and
great.
Help us work through that, because I think there's some repetitive things that I'm hearing here about corridors, buffers.
And what about the street behind, the other entrance of Calhoun's Forest is one on 133, and the other one is on, what is that, Old Greenville Road or Ford Road?
Old Central Road.
Yeah, Old Central Road, the other side. And I see there's a whole lot of, when I go towards, like I take the back roads to go to the gym, the whole lot of houses are being built, and they're cutting down the whole wooded area forest. And that's where I used to see lots of wildlife, as you said, wild turkeys and deer, but now I don't see them actually when I drive in the, at night or any other time. But I see there are and that area, I don't think it belongs to Clemson or Central. So,
Then it's county land. and
Yeah,
there's
then it's
really not a
county,
lot of
nothing.
Ordinances there. If we do have someone come in and explaining, all the different tree ordinances, can we get an explanation alongside with like zoning? Because I'm pretty sure it's different. Because I don't understand zoning.
Yeah,
it's a very, very sticky. That's a very sticky topic and this kind of thing.
Yes.
Zoning, yeah.
Mary, did you get to say a goal?
I was gonna second the composting. That was one of my big things. Is there like a community garden, like a food?
Yes.
There is?
Yes.
Okay. I was wondering if we could implement the composting in with that.
What we have I'll tell you what we have right now. We have 22 plots, 10 by 40 plots, and what we use is leaf compost. So when the public works truck goes around and vacuums up all the leaves, they take a good portion of those leaves out to Mountain View Park, and we have a little area where they dump those leaves. We let them compost, we turn them over, and it turns into great soil amendment. We also have the knuckle boom truck that goes around and picks up everybody's organic waste on the curbside. They take it to Public Works and they run it through a tub grinder, and they grind it up, and this compost mulch comes out. I don't want to call it hardwood mulch because it's everybody's problem that's been on the curbside. But what we do is we take it back to Nettles Park that we're going to use, and we'll pile it up and let it cook. And we leave it there for about a month, and it can get about 120 degrees inside those piles, and it cooks out a lot of the weed seeds and pathogens. When it composts out so far, we can use that as soil amendment as well. So we do have some nice built-in sustainable composting methods, but I'm still open to more.
Okay.
So that would be
For
great.
like food composting.
Food composting.
Yeah, like tables or kitchen scraps essentially.
The only issue that we may have on site is that we are surrounded by neighborhoods, and I don't want to
Drugs,
draw
animals, right.
and flies and things like that. That's the only.
Do we have a budget or any funding, or can we work with any grants? Like what kind of monetary?
Yep. The grants I will send. I know grants are going to come up. I've got some guidelines to send you because grants have to have a project. If it's a matching, then we have to budget for it. So there's a whole process of if the city is going to apply for the grant that would have to go through. So I'll send you guys that this week. And, as far as a budget or anything, I don't think so.
What about recycling? Like, can we implement something like that might be incentive based? Like I know some states do a program where if you turn in glass, you get like some small change back. Well, that, just kind of incentivizing people to recycle more regularly.
But aren't we having problems finding places to recycle glass at this point?
I read an interesting article today about Pickens County
Yeah.
and grinding glass, and they're
Yes.
using it to fill potholes.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Might take a lot of glass up here.
Yeah, we could.
For building up awareness, us learning about what's going on. But on the other hand, within the Clemson connection, I've appreciated the sections on sustainability. Are you writing?
No, sir. That's Sarah Wickham. She is in admin. She's an admin assistant. She does the community connection. That's her baby. And we do have. We also have a new employee who's working on social media presence. We've been trying to put out a lot of our sustainable stuff through that as well.
So do you send things, ideas to her?
Yeah, and a lot of times she contacts me because I get so caught up in.
So in this process, do we send you ideas and then you send them ideas?
Here's the thing that I've seen happen in other committees, particularly the Pratt Committee, the Parks and Rec, Arts, Culture, Tourism. They write an article They pick someone from the group who can write, and they actually pick a topic. They pick a topic together, and they write an article and submit it for the community connection. So I think that would be fantastic.
That's what Nancy did for the university. She was the editor for Clemson World.
Clemson World, oh, wonderful. So do we have, I mean, we do get Clemson Connection hard copy. Do you have it online too?
Yes.
Yes, that's a great tool.
That's one thing we could really easily do to start with, is just come up with an idea for an article and get it published and start getting the community aware.
Yes. So we can put together all these things which,
Don't shoot me, Nancy.
yeah.
So what's it?
Just don't shoot me. Nancy lives up the street from me.
So can we, when is next community connection? I used to
Well,
put for
just
my
came out.
organization.
So
It just came right
This was the
now.
fall one,
Yes,
so the
that
next
was
one will be
3 months
winter.
roughly.
And
Yeah, so 3 more months. So what we
No.
can do, we can,
she starts pretty quickly,
Yeah.
so pretty early, so whenever I get the email from
Sarah?
her, I'll let you know.
I mean, do y'all
And
just
you've
want to
got
have
her
something
know
about the fact that
we
there's a
want
new
to do
committee
one, so
and
she has it on her
committee
schedule
and
too.
we can add all the things which we have discussed. These are our, like, issue which we are discussing.
Yeah, our
So,
goal, yeah.
Yeah, about it, and people should know what we want.
People that are interested.
Yeah.
Do we need to narrow down the goals, or do we have enough crossover and?
I think she's taking notes from that note. I think we can put things, make it like a more.
I'll make it more cohesive.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, a few of those you could combine, or you could just write something really broad and vague.
maybe.
Well, I mean, that means you
I
can
like it,
kind of
yeah.
go in whatever direction you
Yeah.
feel you need to go to,
We
you
don't
know.
need to very specify. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I get is three
With what we have right now.
environment. We talk about car chargers, electrification of vehicles, and convenient, making it convenient of people more electric vehicles.
All right.
And definitely how to preserve our natural resources and work with the community and find out who is in charge for making these. Work with developers who are developing any area, and how they make the decision. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. Only thing,
learn.
we have to, exactly. So we have to learn, and we need to find out, and we need to work together so they will have some kind of restriction that they should not be. I mean, well, I feel that I don't like it. So it should be, everybody should be understanding. I'm sure everybody, you ask them, do you want buildings, do you want houses all over, or do you want some forest, some natural, habitats and things like that? Everybody would say, yeah, we are.
Yeah, but then somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to pay.
Well, I'll tell you what, after you get the minutes done,
So anyway,
I will rough out
okay.
some
And,
article, and I'll just send it to everybody. How's that?
All right, so we are almost, and then
So the hard part, figuring out when we're gonna meet, because it was so much fun getting this first meeting on the calendar.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Well, it looks like, just looking at this calendar, that Wednesdays are wide open here.
That's what I was thinking, the second,
So-
maybe the second Wednesday of every month, or third, or whatever, some set time.
My evenings are wide open. I don't have anything in the evenings. so-
I teach a class on Wednesdays.
Every Wednesday?
Yeah,
Oh,
right
okay.
now it's going every Wednesday,
That's
this
a shame.
semester.
What time is
Until 5, I would say 5:45, something
Okay.
like that, yeah.
So could you leave it like 6:30?
6:30 we can think of it. We can do it 6:30 if you want. If majority of the people there okay with 6:30 on Wednesday. And Wednesdays are, is majority of the people good on Wednesday?
I'm good on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Everybody's good on Wednesday?
Wednesdays are good?
That's
Okay.
great.
So which Wednesday of the month?
Okay.
Someone said third. I
I
second
said
that.
second or third, but I'm just looking to see if there's.
It doesn't matter to me.
It usually just works better that way.
Looks like the second Wednesday of the month is open every month.
And Monday is not good for everybody?
Monday's got so many things on it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Mondays on the calendar already.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Wednesday is a very.
Second Wednesday of the month is 6:30?
Yeah.
A second that.
Sold.
All right, another thing to do.
So something I read about the committee, if 6 of us gather, it's got to be an official meeting. I just kind of wonder if there's a need or interest in some just get-togethers to focus on a goal.
Yeah, at some of the earlier meetings, there was talk about subcommittees to focus on different interests, different goals.
Could we bring in then other people from the community if they're interested in those things? Committee involvement, or community involvement.
I think that's a great.
So if we had a subcommittee on one of these things, we could pull in 3 or 4 people from the community and add to our breadth.
But we just have to make sure that we don't have 6 people.
Six members of the committee.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's an official, you guys are meeting,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
and it has to be recorded,
So if we have less than 6, we can have
Less
subcommittee.
than
like a
half.
subcommittee.
Less than half, yeah. And you'll make sure we
Considering
do what we did put on this calendar for that day.
That shouldn't be.
Second-
That's
the
right.
second
It'd be a
Wednesday of
meeting.
every month.
You'd have to
Actually-
record it.
Actually, how many official ones? We have
That's true.
7, I think.
Then we're not meeting.
8 counting Eunice.
Yeah.
So 5 would be a quorum.
Yeah.
So 5,
And,
yeah,
Quorum is
5.
5.
and we're missing one member because there's an opening for a landscape architect. So it'll be 9.
That would still be 5.
Still be 5. So 5.
Good to know.
I know one, but he's in Greenville.
Yeah, that's good.
So that'll be October the 9th,
Yes.
November the 13th, December the 11th.
Okay, October.
I'll talk to Sarah and just make sure we can have the council chambers for those.
October 9th and November.
And will you get us someone to speak at possibly the October meeting on the zoning and the ordinances?
I sure will.
Okay.
I sure will.
I mean, we need that education.
Absolutely.
Do we want to have a subcommittee specifically for community outreach and like the article where we can talk about specifics? We can finalize the article and get it out before the next meeting.
I was just gonna send it to everybody, and let everybody.
Work on it?
Well, I was gonna write it up, just ask for suggestions.
Okay.
But,
Feedback.
And you guys can get a lot done with email too.
yeah.
Although I know it's kind of hard to get everybody together.
Pretty easy to find that day.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, so I think if we are done with all the,
And Tony's,
yeah, we have only one people. Okay.
Did you guys have a chance to look through all of that stuff? I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what we've been up to.
Just a bit.
good job.
Well, it's just a portion, but just kind of hitting the highlights, and that's this summer. I did want to mention that, we're talking about the tree ordinances. I did apply for a technical assistance grant. There's no money involved with it through it is actually an Inflation Reduction Act grant. And I applied through the South Carolina Forestry Commission for a third party to come in and audit our tree ordinances. And this would be the Green Infrastructure Group. The Green Infrastructure Center, they actually conducted our tree canopy mapping. So they are very aware of what we have available in the city. And I just thought ahead of our comprehensive plan, this would be a nice idea to have professionals come in and just take a look at what we have and provide us with some extra recommendations. I don't know if we have the grant yet, but applied for it.
So you mentioned also they did eco-services studies?
Yes.
What did that?
Services study, I can provide you guys with that. I think I may have given it to you in a handout, but I'll resend it to you. After we did the canopy mapping, we applied for a grant for eco-service benefits study. And what they did is they basically broke down our tree canopy and gave us what the benefits that our tree canopy is providing our community, which is, I think one of them was 12 million gallons of water is being mitigated every year by our
Well,
tree canopy.
that's the kind of things we could add, we could send to the newsletter.
Yes, exactly. That stuff needs to be promoted. How much carbon is being sequestered by our tree canopy? And this is all within the city limits.
For those kind of reports, are we able to get back the raw data? Because I'd like to add that to, because we've got this now, and Clemson has a layer I've been looking at, and that would give us a broader picture to look at.
Let me talk to Tyler, who's our GIS. He has a lot more of the raw data than just that report that I gave you.
Sweet. Yeah, I just need feature layers.
Okay.
To add it together. And so it says here you started SEPC inspections. I actually just got SEPC certified.
Nice.
So
Join us every Friday,
okay.
9:30.
Perfect. Well, I think I have school.
Small problem there.
Yeah, conducting those with the stormwater manager, Ethan Barnett, and I'd love to have him come talk to us at some point. He actually got these little handouts from the university, and I'm going to get some of them. We requested 100 of them, and it just gives you all the benefits of stormwater from your tree canopy. But when I get those, I'll share them with you.
Did you prepare a report on our tree canopy after you did all the assessment?
No, the Green Infrastructure Center did.
Okay.
And our canopy is I'm going to say was, in 2022 at 48%. Now, there's been other annex properties since then. There's been, the development that you were talking about near Calhoun Forest that took down some trees. Other developments on, I can't remember the name. Is it Chapman Road? Not Chapman Road.
The Grange.
The Grange. That was annexed in, so there was no trees there. And the little road that goes in between Clemson Street and Old Clemson. There was a
Lawrence Road.
Lawrence Road, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
That Lawrence Road, there's a large development there. So, our canopy's probably taken a hit since the 48%. And it doesn't take very long to do away with 1% or 2%.
And that's
So-
what scares me. When I drive around, all these years, and I have seen these trees growing, and that's what made me come to this committee, because it really worries me to see that all that greenery is just going away from Clemson. And
That's why it's important to look at the zoning and what's being allowed right now and how can we
Well, and
improve that.
one point I would like to make is that 80% of our tree canopy is on private property.
Yeah.
So
So it's not protected right now, really.
it's not. There's nothing that protects trees on private property.
Is
Just-
there any way to protect trees on private property?
Yes, there are ordinances that, there are communities that have ordinances.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a tree of a certain size.
Yeah.
it's HOA also decides, whether you can, on private property.
So
about this certified wildlife habitat, that's private property?
Yes, so,
Yeah, that.
so, I think it was down on this end of the table, it's talking about wildlife.
Yeah, I was just telling that there is, yeah.
So Chris, I was gonna have him present to you next meeting about wildlife certification with the city of Clemson, through the whole city. So he's been working on putting together some information about that. He's been working on this for quite a while. And this is really just a matter of getting the word out to folks and promoting it. So we've started doing that through city social media, but that it is, I'll let him explain a little bit more. He does a better job of explaining it than I do.
So, we actually, the city of Clemson, I think as of like 10 years ago, these private residences were signing up as wildlife habitats. It's picked up recently just because we've been putting stuff on Facebook. But for the city of Clemson, we're approximately 100 private residences away from the city of Clemson as a total entity being certified as a wildlife habitat. There would be more work that goes into that, and I can explain this next meeting. But right now, we're really just trying to get the word out there. Like I said, there's about 100 more properties, and a lot of the requirements are food, water, shelter, places to raise young, and most of the Clemson properties I've been to already have that. So like Tony said, it really is just getting the word out there and getting people to sign up. It's a little tricky to sign up, especially for some elderly people. So again, right now, it's really just been getting the word out and showing people it's pretty simple to sign up. The next meeting, I'll explain, where we are with it, kind of all the details.
Is that something that can be done by like a subcommittee that goes out and canvasses, or like with a petition to get people to sign up for
I
it?
mean, obviously it's up to you guys, but yeah, I think that's definitely, I think that would definitely be a possibility.
This certification.
If we're having a speaker like Chris, I think we should publicize that too, so hopefully we'll have people attending because we
Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, and even offering help to older residents for somebody to come out and help them sign up.
Yeah. Mhm. And like I said, I haven't done a lot, but I've been to a couple properties, and the desire in Clemson, I would say, is for sure there. Clemson, again, a lot of the properties, the requirements, they already meet them. It really is just getting them signed up. So we still need 100 properties. And this has been going on for about 10 years. This is actually a wildlife list right here.
Is this through the National Wildlife Federation?
It is, yeah. So this is everyone that signed up. And like I said, dates back to 1996. But it's like I said, there's been years where no one has registered. So ideally, my goal would be get all these 100 people as soon as possible.
Can development sign up for that?
They can. So they actually get more points. So like, for example, Clemson Downs is signed up.
Awesome. Their administration
Downs.
building, not the homeowners association.
Yes, so they're signed up, and that gets more points. One thing we would also like to do is, if they have it set up weird, is, so like right now, Clemson Downs is set up as national wildlife, or as a wildlife habitat, but the individual property owners are not. So sometimes you're actually missing out on getting the entity certified instead of getting each individual property certified. So like I said, right now, Clemson Downs we're only getting 3 points. Whereas, we could obviously get more, there's obviously more properties at Clemson Downs. We need about 100 points more to be certified. You get about 1 point for a residential property, you get 2 or 3 for schools and government agencies and stuff like that.
Does Clemson's Honeycutt Creek, can they sign up?
What is it? I'm sorry.
There's a Honeycutt Creek that goes through Clemson's campus, and it's all overgrown. That's definitely wildlife.
Yeah, so it's as long as they really just want it, as long as you have an address associated with it, it's in the city limits.
It's not city limits, it's on the university property.
Gotcha.
It's the joy of the university, it's not city.
Yeah.
Guys, just make note, we're about 10 minutes over.
Yes.
I'm happy to keep talking, but just wanted to, if we're gonna meet, and you guys can decide the duration of the meetings, if you want them to be an hour, 2 hours, hour and a half, whatever. Had this one slated for an hour, but it's up to you guys.
1 hour is good enough?
That's a little short, I think. I'd like to see at least an hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
Hour and a half is good.
Well, if we're starting at 6:30,
6:30,
if we start at 6:30, we could do 6:30 to 8.
yeah. So we should have 1.5 hour meeting? Okay.
Okay.
So could be that. So if we are starting at 6:30, so we'll be till 8 o'clock. Unless-
So, now we're open discussion, new business.
So first meeting, I don't know.
It's all new business, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, everything was
Yeah,
new
everything
business
is new
today.
today. Everything is new today, and is it
I,
okay that if you have the contact phone number for everybody?
I know we have everybody's email on the
Yeah,
elected
yeah.
email.
I mean, you can have my phone number.
Yeah, we want to pass around a piece of paper and like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we can let our secretary capture it.
Yeah.
That sure
That would be
can.
nice, yeah.
Absolutely.
We could send our phone numbers over email later.
That would be, yeah, probably.
Probably email would be a good idea, so you.
Yeah, what's your email number? I'll send it to you.
It should be. Mine is Marigold, Marigold, Honey, 31 at Gmail. Marigold, Honey, Honey.
It's really- Well, it's in the other messages
is,
space.
you're
Maybe your
right.
name was, but, I mean,
You have everybody's email.
If they responded to the email
It's on-
threads,
yeah,
then I
it's-
have
actually,
y'all,
it's
and I
on-
can.
It's on the,
That's
it's on there.
I don't know if everybody's name
Yep, yeah, that's right, that's right.
is. Some of them.
I don't have my phone with me, so I think everybody's email is on that email.
It's on, yeah.
Yeah,
You can get everybody.
Yeah, everybody. So I will give you my phone number anyway. My
Okay.
phone
And is Chris an actual member or an adjunct
pretty
member?
public. All university members.
He's bumped back up.
Okay, so he's an adjunct member.
There you go. I like it.
RETO, we just saying
He does a lot for a little.
723. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty good with texting also if you want to be informal about it. Email, text, it's fine. And if you feel that you need to, I don't know, talk about it before any meeting, if you want to talk, discuss something.
Thank you all.
Can we-
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a good
John.
night.
Thanks for- yeah,
We'll
thank
be
you.
in touch with you, sir.
Thank you.
We'd like to have your contact actually.
I got it.
Oh, you have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to share with you the energy efficiency workshop, which is next Thursday. I'm gonna pass these flyers out. I can send it to you electronically if you guys can share. This would be great. Eunice got me involved in this, and I'm really excited about it. I'm just trying to spread the word. It'll be at the Clemson Central Library next Thursday, and it's right up our alley.
Is this a family-friendly event?
Family-friendly event, absolutely.
I did want to ask too, just in case I can't secure a babysitter, is it okay if she sits out there? She's 7, I could give her a tab. Okay.
Might want to make a public comment.
She might, she is my child. 7. She goes out and she picks up trash with me sometimes.
Out of town.
Yeah, Thursday.
All right, ready?
Did want to bring up that I really want this committee to have a strong presence for Arbor Day, which is a long ways out. So South Carolina Arbor Day is December 6th. But if we could figure out resources with the botanical gardens and other things that I'm not aware of, to get trees for the public at a low cost or free.
I jump in, Andrew.
Yeah.
We have Arbor Day event every year.
Let's go.
Every year we do an Arbor Day event. It is poorly attended.
But it's not, I don't think it's publicized very well.
You know, we try.
Yeah, I know.
We try, but you know, some of it's timing. Sometimes we do it during the day, and it's a little hard to get folks out. But we usually choose 2 or 3 places to plant several trees around the city. This year we're looking at, we had a tree planting event along the new Green Crescent Trail behind the United Methodist Church over by Clemson Park. And because of the summer that we had, we lost a few of those trees. So we would like our Arbor Day event this year to be just the city's Arbor Day event to replant some of those trees. But I'm very open to helping facilitate others. We are having a tree giveaway in February with Trees Upstate. And we are also, I talked to the Rotary Club Friday, and we are hoping to have a partnership with the Rotary Club and the Interact Club at Daniel High School to have a tree planting event with Trees Upstate somewhere this winter. We're just looking for commercial or private property to do it. We can't do it on public property. For Trees Upstate to be involved, it has to be some kind of commercial, public, or private. It can't be public property, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway, that's kind of what we have going on, but man, you guys do an event, if you want to do an event.
That's what I was thinking, that we can have an event, like a little bit publicize it and make it like you know, a celebration going on. If you do that, then the city definitely, they will come together.
Some of the things that we've done over the years, last year we had several city employees who have passed, and so we planted trees in their honor at the facilities that they worked. And then we also had an event with the environmental club at Daniel High School. They're called RISE, and we had a tree planting at Toddy's place. They had helped us do some tree survey work down there, and they did a great job. And Chris actually went out. We planted 5 trees, I think. 4 or 5 trees down at Toddy's place, just to kind of bolster the understory down there. So,
Yeah, I was thinking, you know, having some sort of a resource prepared for specifically Clemson area. You know, letting people know what the predominant soil type is, what trees that the city of Clemson wants to be put out there, and then also what companion plants would be good to help them thrive. And just giving, you know, people a free way to put up something that's going to work. Whereas I planted trees as well as they all died. So.
yeah. Well, what's cool about the Trees Upstate, we've done numerous giveaways with them, is they always give how to plant the tree, the light requirements, the soil requirements. They have a really good program, and it's almost an educational event when you come through. You're shaking your head. You must have done this.
I'm just familiar with the organization from.
Yeah, they're fantastic. But there's no need to give trees away or encourage folks to plant trees if we're not going to educate and promote the right way to plant them. Then, yeah, they're walking dead.
What about a flyer from the Sustainability Committee that lists, here are the kinds of trees you need to think about planting and that sort of stuff? Because when we've lost trees in our yard, we always plant at least one more. But I don't know anything about them, about whether I'm planting the right kind of tree for this area or not. The last 2 we did were 2 maples that have grown really nicely, but we also did a bur oak that is 15 years old and about that big right now.
Yeah, we're a little outside of that bur oak, and I know that's the Centennial Oak over there, but we're a little outside of its native habitat. But this is really important in this town because, like I said, 80% of the tree canopy is on private property, and a lot of it is old growth. It's cycling out. So encouraging folks to plant to replenish that. It's just a very simple forestry method.
Yeah, I mean, down in the downtown neighborhoods, the really old oaks are hitting the end of their lifespan.
Yes.
and a lot of them are just going down and nothing's getting put up.
I lost one.
I think we told you there was 5 big ones that are going.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got any pines, they're not gonna do very well. Pine beetles are.
What about, I also see that we are getting less and less dogwoods. I mean,
There's a disease
good.
that's hitting the dogwoods pretty hard.
It's
I
anthracnose.
lost all my dogwoods in my back. So maybe that's another thing you should plant in the back. They're pretty, I think they're not so hardy probably.
Well, a lot of people plant them in the wrong place, but there is a disease going through the dogwoods too.
I lost all my dogwoods, it's very sad.
The dogwoods are, yeah, I wouldn't say they're on the decline, but they're very hard to transplant. They do really well when they come up on their own,
Yeah.
but they are tough to transplant and have survive, and they are very susceptible to the anthracnose virus. That's usually what's knocking them out. And then when you have a drought like we've had, it just, that extra stress really throws them for a loop. But we're looking at other varieties that we can plant that have flowers, service berries. Chris has got a nice one. That's another thing is we can bolster our preferred plant and tree list. We've got a working list, but we can continue to work on that and publish that.
And something fast growing.
But not Bradford pears.
And the last thing I want to bring up tonight is how much say do we have over developments that are happening? Like, they're doing the new Bigsby right now. Can we force them or strongly encourage them to use the tree list?
Who is we?
The Sustainability Commission of the City of Clemson.
The Sustainability Committee is an advisory committee. So if you have a recommendation that you would like council to hear, then you put together a presentation and bring it to council.
But at this point in the process with Bixby, it's probably too late to do anything with it.
I'm sure
It would have to be done
Yeah,
as
I mean,
part of the approval
they're already
process.
doing it now.
What about, so we just missed the approval process for the Abernathy one, the uptown. So we can't do anything about what they haven't broken ground yet.
I'm sure they've signed papers.
So we've got no say on what they do.
They should know.
But what we
way
should
ahead.
do, what we need to do is think about things that haven't happened yet that are gonna happen in the future.
Exactly.
And say, okay, what are recommendations that we wanna bring to city council so that they can make recommendations or requirements?
So those, like the Bixby, for example, they submitted a landscape plan. They had to follow what was in the commercial development ordinance, and they were required to plant a certain amount of canopy. Some of that required them to plant street trees out front, which will eventually be larger street trees on the front. I think, and then they also had to plant a buffer in the back to kind of block the garage as you're walking down the trail at Abernathy. A lot of that was volunteer. They volunteered to plant on the city side of the right-of-way. The city doesn't own the land of Abernathy Park. That's all Corps property. So they had to get approval from the Corps for species. All of it had to be native species. So that planting that you see there, they actually planted on city-maintained property. So that's actually a pretty good example of coming across the line and trying to help buffer because they knew they were building right next to a park. And when you walk through there now, it helps. I think they tried to paint a certain color so that it wasn't just boom. But I thought that was a pretty good gesture. They were going to build anyway. They didn't have to do anything on the city maintained side, but they did. And I think it's been a pretty good addition. But I think they had to pay $30,000 because they were unable to plant 2 trees. And the reason that number is so high is because these trees required silvocelles or structural soils. The trees in front of the Bixby, the contractor dug out these huge 11 by 4 foot deep holes and filled it with these structural soils so that the sidewalk could be compacted and it would allow root growth. And I sat out there and watched them do all of them.
That's great.
Because initially they didn't do it. And so we had to come back and say, no, we'll pull them up and let's do this the right way. And they did. And so now we'll have some trees that will actually have a chance to reach their genetic potential. And that's another thing about planting trees when we're talking about planting in parking lots is just making sure that we have that soil volume. It's quite a bit of cubic volume that's required for even a 30-foot tree. I mean, you're looking at 600, 700 cubic feet that would be required for that tree to reach its potential, and that's like a maple. So it's a lot of real estate, which is very premium downtown, and there's a lot of utilities in the ground. So it's a balancing act to find places where we can plant and get these large trees where we need them the most.
I mean, so there's times when they have to cut the trees. So what happens on that old Central Road in the back, I was telling you, from our back entrance of Calhoun Forest, that area had big trees. Actually, they were pine trees. And even the slightest of the windy day or little heavy rain, our power is gone. Because it's, I mean, at least 2-3 times in a year, we lose power for several hours. And we asked that, can you cut, we can see that it's going to fall on that line. And they said that no, the city would not let us do that. I said, ahead of time, cut it so the limbs should not fall, especially pine trees. And every year it happens. So now they're building houses. So now I see that lots of trees are gone. But we wanted them that during rainy season, always we'll have power outage at least 2-3 times in a year for hours because of the trees. So.
It'd be great to get those lines underground.
Exactly, I would love that, right? And I always say that, why can't they do this? So my husband would say that, city, they don't want to do it, they don't want to spend money.
They actually would love to do that, but it is incredibly expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And how does that impact trees?
And how does it impact
Yeah,
trees?
so-
Because they're not going to bore all of that line.
Yeah, so-
Did all city residents get the email about putting the lines underground and where they came out and looked to see if they could possibly do it?
You know, I don't know.
I mean, we got it, and then we got another message back saying it couldn't be done where we are
Oh, okay.
because of
The trees?
probably the trees in the driveway and the, you know.
Was this a Duke Energy email?
I believe so, but I was thinking it was somehow related to the city. So
Okay.
that there was a grant that would pay a certain amount, like $3,000 toward the cost of it or something. I will see if I can find it.
In which neighborhood you live in?
This was downtown.
So in my neighborhood is underground, but on that it is coming from the main power. Or, it's not.
Yeah.
So it's always. And if we have ice, it's cold. I think we are done.
In forming the committee, there was some discussion about having a formal interaction with the botanical gardens, but I don't know that it happened.
Yeah, I think there was an idea to have the entity, the botanical garden entity, as part of the committee, but somehow somehow the wording of the ordinance didn't allow that. It had to be, we had a master naturalist and a LA, and those individuals could be in or outside of the city, but there wasn't wording in the ordinance about an entity. So I think, but would love to have him come visit us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'd be very open to that.
Should we adjourn?
I think so, we are done. Are we
You
done?
have to make it official.
Well, we have to have a motion and a second.
Yeah, I definitely move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, we adjourn the meeting.
All in favor?
The gavel.
Gavel it up.
Oh, I have.
Nicely done, you guys. Well done.
I feel, thank you very much, all of you, and please, please, as I said, you know, I am new to this thing. You said that it came with some kind of, agenda, I would have to say, in my mind for the whole thing. And please remind me anything, or you want me to do anything, you want me to focus on something, please send me an email or text
Tony's
me.
Tony's gonna be your best friend.
I know, but you guys are, I need to do your help too. If you come up with something, please let me know, or maybe, but if you think that I need to do that.
Let me stop the recording.
Just to do that.
Give this to my husband. It'll work.
Yeah, I'll definitely like mine. Hopefully, the thing that is here.